Now that the 2023 elections have ended in the fiasco we warned about, what next? As we consider what we can begin to do, what options are still available to salvation, let us bear in mind that there is a caliphate conquest agenda. There is also the alliance that caliphate built with the rest of the country, particularly the renegades, the renegade wing of the Southwest. And when I say caliphate, when I say alliance of 1967, I'm talking about the conservative North working with the renegade wing of the Southwest. We knew what it was in the 60s. We knew what it became in the 70s, early 70s, up to a point. Then Obasanjo was promoted to the rank of a head slave to help them impose the victory charter from that war, by which they seized everybody's assets, pretending they were targeting Eastern Nigeria. That alliance of 1967 has been defeated and decapitated by the Ninas alliance that isolates the invader, that isolates the monster that's been eating up everybody. Because it's that monster that is killing in Benue, killing in Oyo, killing in Port Harcourt, killing in everywhere across the land. So that monster that has codified itself into a constitutional format, controlling everything in the name of Federal Republic of Nigeria, is essentially the one operating that alliance of 1967 that now includes renegade wing of the Southwest, of the Yoruba. And so we have had this election. There's a winner declared, Tinubu. But how did we arrive at that? Because we're heading right back to where we were in 1964 that became 1966. With all its condiments, complete. Ethnic. Inordinate ambition of a caliphate to prevail. Renegade elements, Southwest, holding hands with the enemy. And so we now arrive again at a point in which that alliance, which had basically been, emasculated and incapacitated, began to receive some breath of life when Tinubu went over to the Northwest to bring Buhari to be president. He railroaded Buhari, of course working with some other stakeholders in the dark, including elements in the US. We know about David Axelrod and all of what became the APC that became 2015. Having imposed that Buhari on everybody, they wobbled through the first 4 years. We saw the disaster. They wobbled through to 2019 election that became basis of current tenure. We have seen where Nigeria has landed. And for somebody who committed such a heinous crime against his own people and the rest of Nigeria, because he basically opened the gateway for these invaders that are coming from all over Sahel, from Mauritania, from Libya, everywhere the Fulani had been wandering, they now have a landing space where they are going to dislodge the owners, the indigenous peoples of Nigeria, to share out the land. Like the tiles you have, look at the floor where you are, you see tiles there. That's how they've shared Nigeria all the way to Boni, all the way to Badagry, from Maiduguri and Sokoto. And if we recall the role of Afonja in what finally happened to Ilorin, we begin to see another Afonja here that has opened the gateway. But this time, not just against the Yoruba, against the rest of Nigeria. Then in when that calamity will have been rolled away, Tinubu comes out to say, Emi Lokan. Tinubu was not addressing the rest of Nigeria at the time he said, it is my turn. Because that's the meaning of Emi Lokan. That's Yoruba for Emi Lokan. He wasn't talking to the rest of those who thought he was talking generally amongst all political parties and political gladiators. No, it was that joint venture, that caliphate alliance of 1967 that includes the renegade wing of Yoruba land. He was telling them, look, I made it possible for you in the last 8 years. You know, you do, I do. That's how he came to, it is my turn. It is within the context of that alliance. So the rest of you don't get it mixed up. He wasn't talking about you. You have no stake in it. Nigeria belongs to Nigeria. You know, the caliphate, realizing that it cannot hold everybody down all by itself, engage the renegades. Of course, they now recruit other renegades from the other parts of Nigeria. Otherwise, you won't have people who will stand up in Igbo land or Ijo land or in Benin City to swear to defend and uphold the instrument of their oppression. The constitution imposed by that alliance as victory charter from the war of 1967 to 70. That's how we came about the constitution we have now. It is the victory charter from that war. Those who stood with them at the time, you have been hoodwinked, you have been swindled to aid the enemy to take your land. We are all in the same boat now. Our assets and our sovereignty are being hijacked by that caliphate. But whenever things get tough, get some kind of a pushback from the rest of the people, they fall back to their natural fallback is to the alliance of 67, in which they found sufficient number of renegades from other parts to join up with them, pretend it's Nigeria that is coming. It is that alliance. But Ninas is the undoing. Ninas is the defeat of that alliance. You've gone to your election. Two things are going to go down. You remember Domino 2? You remember this Domino 2? Two things are already going down. And there's a consequence, which you see in the number 3 station, the number 3 pillar. This election has gone down. The constitution that mandated it, as imposed by that alliance of 1967, gone down. The union anchored upon that constitution, I tell you, is gone. That's unitary Nigeria is gone. There's still the Nigerian country. Nigerian Federation died. The carcass have been sustained by brigandage. And that's what is the unitary Nigeria defined by this constitution. So those who are planning to come to swear through elections to defend and uphold that unitary Nigeria, that unitary constitution that make the rest of people slaves in their homeland, I can only say sorry for you, because you're going to come face to face with the consequences of your wrongdoing. You are aiding the enemy in a war against your people by sustaining that constitution, going to election under it, because you are going to swear to defend and uphold it, to govern by it. All of those who are rejoicing that their relations have won election, their party people have won election, on the 29th of May, those people are going to be swearing to defend and uphold your enslavement. Of course, they're going to get plenty of benefits and profits if there's some handover, some kind of transition that gets into. Ninas is just informing you that you are reinforcing that alliance of 1967 that swallowed the Federation of Nigeria and is now swallowing the peoples trapped here for extermination, so that Fulani will share the owners of that alliance, because it belongs to some people. That's why they are going to have they control all the institutions that will decide what will happen with this election. It doesn't matter how much you shout. They are waiting for you in court as you come. They've declared what they've declared, short of constitutional, requirements. So they did it the way they wanted to do it, and they know where they're going with it. And so let us bear it in mind that alliance of 1967 is what is playing. It may have a Yoruba mask in the name of Tinubu standing in front now, but the instrument that empowers it is controlled almost exclusively by the heads of that alliance, the owners of that alliance. If we fail to wake up from this hypnotism, from this slumber, and join in what the indigenous nationalities are doing under the aegis of NINAS, Nigerian Indigenous Nationalities Alliance for Self-Determination, to topple that constitution, upturn the instruments of that monster operating as that alliance through the constitution that tie up the rest of us. We're going to pay not only in assets, we're going to pay in blood. I think we can drop it there.